What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing, your number one stop shop for all things fight game. If you want to hear it from experts, that is. I am your host, Rex Ruger 2.0.
And I'm your other host, Frank Bengz, back at it with another episode.
Yes. And today,
shout out the ever so beautiful bunny on my shirt.
A beautiful bunny on your shirt. Okay.
Jelly Roll's wife, man.
Oh, okay.
Smoking
and
hot.
Today we got a guy that stepped between those ropes, and therefore I salute him, and he has my utmost respect. A fighter and a gentleman, and all-around good guy who happened to share the ring with one of my favorite guys that we just did an episode on, just put up right now, Oscar De La Hoya. Well, we went back and re-examined the Oscar De La Hoya Floyd Mayweather fight from many, many years back.
From Cinco de Mayo of 2007.
Yeah, many moons ago. Oh, and our guest is here, so let's chop it up with him, man. Let's do it, man. We'll get him in here. He knows how to do this. He's an old pro. Mr. Forbes, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Awesome. So good to see you, man. First of all, how's everything going in your life, man?
Everything is cool, man. Just relaxing. I'm doing a movie date a little bit later. So yeah, no, everything is good.
Stevie, before we get into anything, man, how is the boxing scene? I know several years back you were trying to bring boxing back to the Portland, Oregon area, man. Have you had a lot of success with that? Are people interested in coming and fighting in Portland? Great city.
Yeah, they are. Actually, we haven't done a show since the shutdown, but hopefully we'll get something going, early part of next year or so. But yeah, no, people were starting to become interested and wanted to come. We had before the shutdown happened, we were going to have Layla McCarter come out here and fight. We had a few other people from Vegas coming out to fight. So we were just starting to get some momentum before the COVID shutdown.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Because that is a wonderful city. People really seem to love the Pacific Northwest in this country.
Yeah.
It's beautiful up there. Now, I think a lot of people are going to correlate a big part of your career with the fight against Oscar De La Hoya. And by the way, I rewatched that fight again today, man, and an incredible fight, man. I mean, what was it like to share the ring with him at the time? Was there anything about him that particularly stood out or might have surprised you?
Well, it's funny. I always say this, but the left hook, Oscar's left hook is so dangerous. And, I was kind of waiting for it. And I think in the 10th round, that's when I was like, oh, okay. He caught me like with a little short hook. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's really heavy. It's a heavy shot. But, besides that, no, I was thrilled to get in the ring with them. I just wanted to see how I would do with them because I followed Oscar's career, my whole career, even as I was an amateur and watched him win the gold medal. And, I kind of watched his career unfold. I remember being at a fight party, watching him against Trinidad. And of course, him against Mayweather and to have an opportunity to fight him was, I was like, man, this is cool. I want to see how, this is my opportunity to show that I can fight.
I was actually watching the fight back too, and you said you made mention of his left hook in round 10, and I actually thought that I saw you land a left hook in round 10 that looked like it wobbled Oscar a little bit, and I was curious if you felt that he was wobbled or if you tried to step on the gas and get him out of there, if you thought you might have been able to.
You know what? I did land a hook, and he kind of went back right after he landed his hook on me. I would think about, I was such a fight junkie. I would watch a lot of videos of fights, and one of my favorite fighters who actually got me into boxing, watching him fight, was Evander Holyfield. And I always thought, like, okay, when I get hurt, one thing I would see Evander do is he would fight back immediately. And so soon as I got a little stunned, and I'm like, okay, Oscar's starting to swarm. I'm starting to hear the crowd. They probably think he's going to close the show, but not tonight. He's not. So yeah. I just started firing back, and he kind of backed off. But I did.
I find it funny too that you don't hear the commentators make mention of that left hook at all.
No.
If you're watching it, it's all tailored to the Golden Boy.
Yeah, I do believe sometimes those announcers can be a little not as neutral as they should be.
I had to actually scroll back a second and see it again, because I was like, I think I just saw something. I gotta go look again, because there's no reaction from the crowd or nothing.
Also looked like you had a pretty good round 4 too, man. Like where it looked like that was a round where you might have come right. Wasn't it round 4?
Yeah, I mean, my analysis, I thought in round 4, a question that I actually had was, in round 4, you were doing a little. It seemed like you were a little Emmanuel Augustus out there. You were doing a little drunken master, a little something.
Oh yeah.
I was curious, like your thoughts on that style and just how you could use it effectively, against the guy.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to say something. What is one person most people are afraid of? You may think, the answer is a crazy person.
Somebody unpredictable, sure.
Yeah, somebody unpredictable, somebody crazy. You don't care if the person is 3'9". If a crazy person walks in a room, unpredictable, crazy movements, irky jerky, even if you're not afraid of that person, you're afraid of the situation. You're like, oh, I gotta get my family out of here. I don't know what this person's gonna do. Yeah, it's a danger. So with that, I was like, okay, Oscar's seen everything, but I don't think he's seen a crazy person. I'm in this ring. I'm a little crazy too. I mean, I don't, walk around, showing that, but I'm like, it's nothing he's gonna do that I haven't thought about already. I already thought about, oh, I'm just another fighter. He's supposed to destroy me. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna give him something he's never really seen.
Well, I think you were seen as a stepping stone, or a tune-up fight, I should say, for his big rematch that never manifested with Floyd.
Right. But you could also tell that at times that Oscar was frustrated. I thought that he wasn't getting you out of there.
Very, very frustrated. Yeah. And I'm an Oscar fan. I've been an Oscar fan my whole life. I absolutely love the guy. I've adored watching his career, man. But it's commendable to not be an easy out, because I think he was looking to look very spectacular that night, so he could set himself up for that big rematch with Mayweather.
Oh yeah, I agree. And it's funny that you said you just watched the fight not too long ago. I watched the first couple of rounds. I want to say yesterday. Just for some reason, I'm like, oh, let me go through it. And I think was a telling sign that I think everybody knew that I came to fight was at the end of the first round, where, he was trying to measure me. And then I came back with a hook. I think I hit him with a 1-2 and a hook.
Yeah, I actually thought that, I think if I'm remembering correctly, the announcers almost got just done saying that they felt like Oscar dominated the round. And then you kind of did a little Sugar Ray. You know what I'm saying?
Pieced him up a little.
little powder action, at the end, and kind of get something in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they was like, oh, yeah, he came to fight. Yeah. So,
right.
Now, what was the impetus at the point in your career when you did season 2 of The Contender, man? What was that motivated by? Is that something you think of, or people around you encourage you to do?
No, it was it was funny, because I remember watching the first season, and I had I had already been stripped of the title in 2002 for not making the weight against David Santos, the IBF junior lightweight title.
Right.
I'll go back to that for a second. And what people don't understand about, me losing that IBF junior lightweight title on the scales was I had been fighting at that same weight. Matter of fact, I had been fighting at 132 pounds ever since I was 15 years old. The year Oscar De La Hoya won the gold medal, I had just went to the junior nationals and won a bronze medal at 132 pounds. So, you fast forward, 2002 against David Santos, I get stripped of the title. Everybody was like, oh, he's, his career's over. He wasn't focused. He couldn't make the weight. And back then that was not making weight and losing your title was, that was pretty much the end. But now you fast forward, it happens so many times now, it's not even a big deal. But going through that time, I was like, man, I'm not even fighting on TV no more. I'm getting fights on Fox Sports, which I was thankful for Fox Sports, but nothing was happening. So I got a call. I had just watched the Contender season, the rematches, Peter Manfredo versus Sergio Mora, the rematches.
Yep.
I thought Peter won that rematch, by the way, and I even told Sergio that. But
me too.
So I saw that, and it's funny that I said to myself, I said, that would be crazy if they did another season and I was on it. And I'm telling you, no kidding aside, 1 week later, I didn't have to carry my cell phone around. We still had, home phones. So I had a home phone message with it blinking, and it was from the Contender. And they said, we're doing a second season. We want to know if you want to be on it. So, yeah, nobody brought it up to me. It kind of just happened. So, yeah, they came and found me.
Now, as a guy who went all the way from super feather all the way up to welter, what do you weigh in on this Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight, the one we just saw, and the possibility of another one coming up?
I mean, normally, not to cut you off here, but I did just see that Errol Spence got rid of Derek James. And he's I forget who the top contenders to be his trainer were. But they did have names.
Yeah, wow. I heard Roy Jones and
yes, Roy Jones Jr. was one of them. Yep.
Yeah, Roy was in some Tommy Ford or something like that.
Yeah, well, Mike Tyson is getting Ngannou ready for this fight against Tyson Fury.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The great Mike Tyson in his corner. So, but first of all, what did you see in Spence in that fight? And a lot of people are saying he's been through a lot, that he should hang it up. You, as a guy who was in the ring yourself, what do you see?
I think he should. Even though people have said he took a long rest before that. I mean, he went through the car wreck and all that stuff, and I think it's way too soon for him to come back and fight Crawford. I think he should. Take the whole rest of the year off. Figure out. I would like to. He would have to come back kind of slow because that was such a devastating beating. I've never seen in a super fight where you consider both guys champion. I've never seen a person dominated like that in a super fight. The only other fight I could think of like that where I've seen a person dominated in a super fight was Tyson versus Spinks, and that didn't last long. So it wasn't a beating. It was just, a demolition. But
yeah,
I think he should, take a rest, come back, fight a more of a tune-up fight, and then fight again a few months later. Because, I mean, a lot of times when you take a vicious, a beating like that, it looks like it may be worse the second time. But
you gotta say though that for Spence to get in that car crash that he did, and then to come right off that and fight Danny Garcia was the most gangster shit I've ever seen in my life.
You know what? And so I look at it two ways. I look at and that's the same thing I said. I was like, man, he came back because I like Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, man, is not. Yeah. Not no easy fight. Yeah. I mean, he's a former champion. He's a bona fide, guy. And
then let's also not forget that he had a retinal detachment and he came right back and fought Ugas.
Right. So if anybody can come back and change the whole, the dynamic of what we think is gonna happen, it's Spence. I mean, this guy has to even wanna come right back after that. You may, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things.
I actually got a question that just popped into my head just off this. What is your thoughts on guys doing that? Like they lose a fight and then they just give up a trainer. Do you think that's really like like, was it his fault you lost that fight? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you're an old school guy.
I
You're an
know
old
you
school
put
guy
that
that
on
I
the
imagine
coach.
would be big on loyalty.
Yeah, I don't think it's,
They do it a
you know,
lot.
it ain't, it's not the trainer. I mean, you know, unless the trainer is now. I've been around boxing a long time in the gyms, and I know some trainers that they train you, but they into something else. They party and they, you know, I think we all kind of know people like that, but I don't see Derek James as that type of guy.
No.
He's been with him what, since the amateurs?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, but he probably had a lot of people in his ear. It's your coach, you know, why you know, so I think that's a tough call, you know. Maybe
you've always been a guy who has you know, kind of walked in the footsteps of a lot of the great charitable work that your own grandmother did out in that area. Are you still very involved in charitable endeavors, and what particularly is your focus going into these days?
I haven't been as much as I would like to, but I'm going to start back. It's funny that you say that. My aunt and them, did they already do that we did my family did a back to school giveaway with book bags. I wasn't able to make it, but you know, I still support it and stuff. So, we get book bags for the kids to go back to school and stuff like that. Hopefully we can do something good for Christmas. For Christmas.
Well, your grandmother had a pretty badass nickname. Your grandmother had a pretty badass nickname herself, Hurricane Mary, right?
Hurricane Mary, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Did a lot of great things for a lot of people, though.
She did.
You know?
She did. Yeah. She did. She sold a couple houses to bring 40 people from Hurricane Katrina here in Oregon. Got them housed and got them, you know, situated. I mean, she's done so much stuff, you know, like. It'll take me a lifetime to try to you know mirror that, but yeah.
So what has life after boxing been like for you, though? I mean, like, what, you know, are you still involved in any facet of boxing, or any interest in being involved in any facet? Anybody that you'd like to train or work with? Well,
I'll train some people. They're not really fighters or anything like that, so I work with a couple people. But I want to get back to promoting the smaller shows we do, and hopefully, you know, early next year we'll get back to it, because I like the fight club scene, kind of, you know, being a part of putting on some shows and you know, seeing people, and even seeing you guys like you that come out, you know, that can come out and check out the fights. You know, both of you guys, you know, by the time
we occasionally get off the couch.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, we get something going on, man. You two can come out.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
The problem is we might never come back. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, getting out of upstate New York and someplace nice. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're not in a great spot here, champ. You know what I mean? Like, we're out here where it gets cold in the winter. Oh, it probably gets cold out where you are too, though, right?
Huh?
Probably gets cold out where you are. Where are you? Are you in California?
No, I'm in Portland.
Oh, you are?
I'm in Beaverton, Oregon, a little bit outside of Portland, but
so
it gets a little cold. A little cold and rainy.
Yeah. And so 2023 has been a fantastic year for boxing so far. We've gotten to see a lot of great fights. Now it seems like guys are really willing to put their O on the line and just say, let's make these fights. Let's save boxing and let's give the fans what they want. Are there any that you're particularly looking forward to?
No, you know what? I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen with Shakur Stevenson. Him and Hank, you know, they've been talking back and forth, this bickering.
Yeah.
Well, he's about to fight Frank Martin, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
He's supposed to fight Frank Martin.
Oh yeah. And I'm high on Frank Martin. I like Frank Martin. I think, you know,
but you got to say though, if you watch that last fight Frank Martin was in, he did not look good, man.
Not so hot.
Good.
I thought he lost to Hartunian, man. I thought he got a
lot of people did
decision.
And you know what? That guy wasn't no slouch. I want to see more of the guy. He was an Olympic bronze medalist, or something like that. Yeah.
If he didn't take that knee, he wins that fight. 100% clear as day. If they would have gave it to him if he didn't take the knee, that would have been crazy.
I agree. I agree on that. And
the knee is what saved Frank Martin.
I was high. You know, I was high on Frank Martin. I still am. But
oh yeah, me too. I like him.
You're right. Like he didn't really look great in that last fight, and that should have been a good, he should have been able to. It would have been good for him to get a good dominating performance, especially when people starting to see him a lot. But, with this fight, man, I mean, of course I'm going to favor Shakur.
Yeah.
But, I'm just curious. I'm going to favor. I think Shakur is great.
Yeah, who
great
just
talent.
had a great comeback showing was big baby Jared Anderson.
He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
I remember
big boys.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to remember, 2 pounds was born 2 pounds. He's now fighting with the smaller guys. Come along, you've come a long way from 2 pounds, though.
Oh yeah.
And as a kid, were you always on the small side? And growing up, did you get into a lot of fights? How did you develop this affinity for boxing?
Yeah, well, I was kind of on a little smaller side, but then it kind of evened itself out, like middle school and stuff.
Yeah,
and I did get in some fights. I mean, early on, because it's funny because we lived far out at first. And well, a lot of my cousins were, all in the hood, but we lived far out. And then we came, I started hanging around my cousins and they were like, hey man, you're going to have to fight over here. So, and I love, the good thing about it was I loved it because I loved martial arts and boxing and stuff, and they didn't really know that. So a lot of these guys that were popular, popular with everybody, we'd have to fight. And I would say, okay, let's go somewhere private. And they'd be like, oh, you don't want to get beat up in public. I'm like, nah, I don't want to get beat up in public. But in private, I would destroy them. And then they would always be cool with me afterwards and be like, man, I'm glad we didn't, fight like. I was like, nah, man, it's cool. So then we'd go back to normal, kind of where they was big talkers and stuff. I wouldn't really say much, but I was like, hey, if you want to do that again, let's go, in the backyard.
Yeah.
And do it again. So I was kind of like that guy, that I wasn't, a boisterous type person, but if you want to box or something in the back,
and it's no truer words have been spoken. They always say the dude who's barking don't got no bite.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The loud mouth really ain't about to do nothing.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that was a funny part of that fight because you and Oscar not really big on trash talk. Oscar's not great at it either. I've been watching Oscar his whole career, man. It's not really his cup of tea either.
No, not at all.
I mean, really, though, think about it. What do you look like? 2 grown men going in there and downing each other's ability to fight. Obviously, you both know you could fight.
Right. Yeah.
It is what it is. We about to see.
Yeah.
And let's make no mistake here, Benjis, that our boy Oscar, man, did get to work that night, man. I mean, freaking, I don't care what the scorecards say, man. That's a lot closer fight, man, than what the scorecards turned in.
Yeah.
And when you hear those scores back, are there any that stuck out particularly to you? And you don't even have to say the judges' names, but are there any that stuck out, like where you thought anybody had it right?
No, I didn't think. I was like, you know what? I'm in a kind of a weird situation because.
Yeah, what
he's the promoter.
Two 119 109s and one 120 108. Is that what they were?
Like I didn't win any round. Like how come Oscar went to the hospital with a fractured eye socket and I drank his tequila? And my dad and Richard Schaefer drank Oscar De La Hoya's tequila. Richard Schaefer went and got it at the after party and was like, hey man, you put on a good fight, and hey, this is Oscar's, but he's not here.
Yeah.
And we drank. And then the HBO guys came over to me and was like, hey, man, you'll get another fight. And then I ended up getting Berto, but I wanted to go back down and wait, Yeah. But they gave me Berto 3 months later. I thought
Berto a little too big for you?
It was too soon. Like you in a rough fight. I mean, with Oscar, it was a rough fight. Yeah. My eye swole up after the fight was over. And you got to take time off. That fight against Berto was 3 months later.
Yeah.
So, and I went to training camp back to Vegas. Man, 3 weeks before the fight, I got sick because I was overtraining. Yeah. It was just craziness, man. But I wish I would have had more time. And I wish I would have went down in weight.
We've made mention of that before on this podcast about how a lot of people, a lot of fans, fight fans, and just, people that are on the internet trolling. Yeah. They don't even really know the half of a fighter's life or the trials and tribulations that you really got to go through to even get a fight with Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To even land a fight with like that of that magnitude.
Anybody that steps between those ropes, and we recently had John Iceman Scully on here, who's a trainer now, but is doing fantastic work collecting signed memorabilia and raffling it off and giving proceeds to boxers who have found themselves in destitute situations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the illusion is that you guys that climb through the ropes just live somewhere in an ivory tower rolling around in money, and it doesn't always end that way. Yeah. I mean, sadly, it doesn't always end that way. And you guys do put on quite a show for us and put your bodies through a lot for our entertainment. I mean.
Right. That's why when people say, oh, these guys get paid millions of dollars and stuff. Well, not all of them do. And they get paid that kind of money because there is no health care. There is no 401k. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What you guys go through, man, absolutely makes you heroes, man. It's one of the more physically grueling sports. Years after fighting, a lot of guys aren't in such great condition health-wise, man. And but we're happy to see that you are, man. We're happy to see that you are.
Then we normal people expect y'all to take that money and go get diamonds and Lambos and all this stuff.
No.
Yeah.
To show off and be like, I got all this money.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something that you probably don't know though. When I fought, I used to, after a fight, man, I would get depressed because nothing's happening. After you fight,
you need it.
After the fight is over,
yeah,
you don't know when the next fight is gonna come. Even when you're a champion. Sorry.
That's all right.
Oh yeah. Sorry, somebody dialing in. Can you guys see me?
No.
Something happened.
It's podcasting, folks. I mean, this is what we deal with in the podcast world sometimes. Oh, I think
he'll probably pop back in.
Yeah, I think he bumped out on us, man. But I can, yeah. I get him right.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay, man.
So yeah, there was nothing going on. You don't know when you're gonna fight. You gotta wait a few months. Man, I would be so depressed. I'm like, man, you miss training. You just want to fight, train.
Yeah.
For a while, and then then your career's over. But yeah, that was tough. And once I did the contender stuff, I kind of knew things would be a lot different.
Yeah.
Just because everybody get to see you. It was totally different kind of situation doing that show. So
yeah. Well, I gotta say, man, as always, man, been an absolute pleasure getting the chance to talk to you, man. I hope you'll stay in touch. I hope we can do this again from time to time, man, and pull you in here, man. And yeah, consider you a friend of the show, man. I mean, we love chopping it up with you, man, and getting your insights on stuff. And a true gentleman and a champion, man. And we love you, champ.
Thank you. I love you guys
too. It was great having you on here, man. Great to meet you for the first time and chop it up with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Same here. Likewise, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to you soon, champ. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, y'all.
Later. There he goes, man. Put some respect on that man's name. He climbed through the ropes with our own fucking hero, the great Oscar De La Hoya, man. The man has been in there with Oscar. And the man gave a fantastic account of himself, man, regardless of what those scorecards, said. Gentleman.
We've always known the scorecard to be a little
wonky. Yeah, always a little bit questionable, man. But I mean, come on, man. That is Stevie 2 pounds Forbes. Got his nickname because he was literally born 2 pounds. Never ended up fighting heavyweight. Fought all the way from super feather, light welter, or whatever you want to go, junior welter, and then all the way up to welterweight, which is where I think he fought Oscar De La Hoya. Never got a chance to even asking him what the fuck that picture is from, man, or what fight that picture is from. And all I talked about before the episode was asking him why he was doing that Bruce Lee pose and what fight that was, man. And
he liked the Emmanuel Augustus reference.
Oh yeah. He's an interesting cat that I would love to have on there, man. The drunken master, man, who was just in there. And Floyd Mayweather has gone on record as saying that was his toughest fight, Emmanuel Augustus. Trickiest fight for him. Well, that was
you
a
heard
nice.
Stevie Forbes. Well, you heard Stevie Forbes say why. You know, it's
Yeah.
confusing. A guy you're not used to.
That was a nice little chin wag with fucking the great Stevie 2 Pounds Forbes, man. I think it's probably about time, man, to for you to maybe quote that fantastic quote about toughness from our great American poet Gary Busey.
Yeah, Gary Busey is the living legend and one of the greatest to ever speak.
Yeah.
But that man has given us a multitude of gems, and here's one of them, folks.
And let's not forget that he has a metal plate in his head and still giving us gems.
Right. And some of them might not make any sense.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
Because he and also I can go 15 seconds with anything.
Can't argue with that. Bazang!